How to become a witch. For centuries, witches have suffered under the weight of their negative reputation. The violent reception they would receive from their own neighbors was enough to make us wary of practicing our craft with others. Unfortunately, that solitude has also resulted in a lack of mentorship in our communities. Those two combined make it difficult to learn how to become a witch in the first place. Of course, recent years have been much kinder to those who practice magic. We are now able to share knowledge amongst ourselves in informal and formal ways. Everyone can pick up random tidbits of information on different rituals and magical traditions online. However, if you're interested in learning more about the Wiccan beliefs, an online course like Wicca Academy is a great place to start. Ultimately, learning from qualified mentors and an encouraging community will make you a much more confident magic practitioner than you would otherwise become. Additionally, it'll give you a strong foundation of knowledge to build upon during your individual practice. Still, embarking on such a journey can be challenging. Hopefully, the following guide on how to become a witch will shed some light on the road ahead. How to become a wise and skillful witch. The process of becoming a witch will vary from person to person. Even so, there are some decisions all baby witches must make. For one, you'll have to decide what kind of witch you want to be. Find your niche. Over time, many witches have fallen into solitary practice to avoid prosecution. But as we know, there's strength in numbers. So the first decision you'll want to make is whether you feel more comfortable practicing magic alone or with a coven. Most people are a mix of those styles since there are advantages to both. Next up, you should figure out which beliefs speak to you. Some practitioners lean more towards certain kinds of paganism while others practice a more traditional form of Wicca. However, most people would be considered eclectic witches, mixing practices from different traditions to make a unique blend of beliefs. For example, Black witches have been known to weave hoodoo into their practice, while Latin American witches may find elements of brujeria inspiring. But really, the only way to choose a certain magical tradition you want to work in is to study them all. Only then will you be able to see where your power really comes from. Cosmic witches draw energy from planetary movements, crystal witches use the power of gemstones, and green witches use plants to achieve their goals. No method is better or worse, it's all a matter of finding what works for you. Learn about magical symbolism. Once you dip your toes into the realm of magic, you'll see that everything we do has a hidden meaning. Each Sabbath on the wheel of the year is a symbolic representation of a natural event. Every ritual is connected to the divine moon goddess or the horned god in one way or another. Even the candles we burn have a deeper symbolic meaning that depends on their color. As you continue your studies, you'll find that many of those meanings transcend Wicca. You're probably already familiar with some of them. But if you run into symbols or sigils you don't understand during your studies, make sure to write them down. After all, that's what your grimoire, or book of shadows, is for. As you develop your craft, you'll start adding all sorts of recipes, spell chants, and rituals in there, too. Of course, you'll find it much easier to pick up new skills with professional guidance, which is something the Wicca Academy specializes in. Set up your altar. Most witches find that having an altar helps them work on their craft more regularly. The items you decide to put on it will help you focus your energy towards achieving your goals. But the process of putting an altar together can also be just a fun way to express yourself. Ultimately, your witchy activities are a great creative outlet as well. After all, magic requires your active and enthusiastic participation. Different spells may call upon you to make certain items from scratch, such as jewelry, herb pouches, or even wands. Make a wand or a besom. Most novice Wiccans don't think that wands have a practical purpose, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Both wands and besoms, which are essentially small decorative brooms, can be used during spellwork. The right item can help you hone your craft and direct your energy toward achieving your goals. You can get both wands and besoms in specialized stores or through online retailers. Because of the unique nature of these props, they are usually handmade. But that also means that you can easily make your own. That kind of crafting will be an unavoidable part of your transformation into a fully fledged witch. Grow your own herbs. Once you start conducting rituals, you'll see that working with herbs is a crucial component of many magical traditions. Usually, people just buy dried ingredients to keep in their pantry and take out as needed. However, if you want to have more control over the quality of your herbs, you can also start gardening. Even if you don't have a garden, planters should work just as well for the kinds of herbs you might want to grow. Just imagine the sense of accomplishment you'll feel once your witch's garden starts to thrive. It can almost be a physical manifestation of your growing spiritual powers. Try your hand at spellcasting. Ultimately, witchcraft is supposed to be a tool you can use to improve your life. Depending on the kind of magical tradition you decide to work with, you may also use it to pay your respects to a variety of supernatural entities or even the spirits of your ancestors. Either way, the quality of your craft will depend on the way you wield your magic. With that being said, you're probably aware that spellcasting is one of the most crucial steps you can take toward becoming a true witch. That's where many novice witches start showing their hesitation. But really, there's no need to be nervous. If you don't think you can pull off a more complicated spell, start with the basics. Most jar spells only require you to mix certain ingredients in a small container while chanting a spell. At most, you might have to recharge the spell every once in a while. But other than that, it should be able to hold its own. Alternatively, you might want to try a cleansing spell to get rid of any negative energy that might have attached itself to your home or even your body. While you're at it, you can also learn how to wield protective magic to shield yourself and your loved ones. In that case, you might benefit from learning about your familiar, who should protect and guide you. On the other hand, if you're interested in working with spirits, there are other spells you can try. Tarot and other divination techniques are a good way to get through to your deceased loved ones. Once your power increases, you could also hold seances with other coven members. But by that point, you certainly won't be looking for tips on becoming a witch, you'll already be one. Remember that knowledge comes from community. Stepping into your power as a witch doesn't come without a cost. Unfortunately, many people still hold prejudices against magic practitioners. Remember, the satanic panic of the 1980s had everyone convinced that witches were in league with the devil. So even though the witch trials ended centuries ago, the negative sentiments toward magic practitioners live on. Luckily, there is a way to avoid people's judgment. It all boils down to sticking together and educating people about the essence of witchcraft. As it happens, the Wicca Academy can provide you with a community of practitioners eager to share their skills. So, if you ever find yourself wanting to feel more in control of your destiny, we'll gladly teach you how to tap into your unused potential.